to do. I don't know. The all-in journey was hard, but doing it publicly just added so many layers of criticism, of pressure, of having to be perfect.
So I'm gonna be honest with you, this video will be equally scary, but also a relief to make. Scary because I wanna open up to you about what I'm currently struggling with right now with my body, life, hunger situation, and a relief just because I really wanna just talk to you guys. I wanna let you in and I wanna bring you in and share this next chapter with you. I have been wanting to do this for a while, but I just wasn't ready. But I think I'm ready now, so I wanna talk to you about everything. In retrospect, I think my all-in 1 year recap video had like this false sense of finality that I think led people to believe that I would just be done with all-in, and that's not necessarily true or really how all of this works. That chapter was concluded, but I think right now I'm in a new chapter. So let's call it chapter 2, that comes with its own hurdles and obstacles that I'm currently dealing with. So just to make sure that we're all on the same page, I really quickly want to recap chapter 1. So before going all in, as you know, I had extreme hunger, I was really tired, food focused, I was weak, low energy, and then I went all in and I sedated my extreme hunger by allowing myself unconditional permission to eat. I gained the necessary amount of weight to fix my hunger, fix my metabolism, and my quality of life. And after that, with a lower appetite and a higher metabolism, I lost a fraction of that weight gain, allowing my body to naturally settle into my predetermined genetic set weight, the weight that I can maintain easily without having to try and with intuitive eating, the body that I'm in now. So now what? So for starters, I'm going to tell you how much I weigh for context. So please do not take it out of context. And I would never try to say certain numbers are good or bad. Everybody is totally different. Everybody's body composition is different, and these numbers are completely arbitrary. I am not you and you are not me. But I want to tell you these numbers because I think it'll help you follow along. So I currently weigh 135 pounds, and this is 25 pounds higher than what I weighed before I began my journey. And the highest my weight ever got during my journey back in December 2019 was 152 pounds. And I think a good question to answer that I would like to address right now is whether or not I could have just gained 25 pounds, like to be the weight that I am now and not gain the 42 pounds that I did gain. And that is a definite no for me and my body. I needed to gain that 42 pounds to finally get to a place where my appetite was decreased to eventually get back down to my set weight. If I had only gained 25 pounds and stopped eating to satiety, I would have never reached that point, because after gaining only 25 pounds, I was still very hungry and still very far from finishing my journey. And stopping there would have just prevented me from fixing my extreme hunger. But I do feel really good and happy here, not because I think I look good. I think I struggle with that regardless of what my weight is, but I really want to emphasize that I feel good, physiologically. My health, quality of life, my mood, and my hunger, all of that is really good right now. I'm definitely in a way better place than I was before I started my journey, but mentally, I am struggling with a few things right now, and that is what I want to talk about. So right now, I'm in this post all-in weight maintenance phase. So my weight has been the same since July. I haven't been doing anything different or special, but this phase is tricky because of public perception. I feel like people think that my journey was supposed to be this perfect linear line up in weight gain, and then a perfect line down in weight loss, and then plateau and stabilize for the rest of time. Hold on, let me explain. Okay, so weight is on the y-axis, and time I've been all in is on the x-axis. And then here is the weight I was when I started my journey. So this is what I think people think my all-in journey should look like. I gained weight, then my appetite decreased, so I lost some of the weight that I gained, and then my weight perfectly stabilizes for the rest of time at the ideal weight people think I should be. But based on everything I've learned about all in, it doesn't always work out like that. Some people who have a naturally lower set weight might gain a lot of weight and then settle at a lower body weight than I am now. Some people with a genetically higher body fat set point might not lose any of their overshoot weight or just lose a small amount of that weight, and then they settle higher than me because of their genetics. But I feel like right now I'm somewhere around here. My weight is stable, and yes, I did lose some weight, but what I'm fearful is if I continue to lose any more weight, people might think I'm restricting or dieting again. Or if I gain more weight in a second wave of weight gain, or just gain weight because Thanksgiving and the holidays are coming up, people might say all in failed and I'm back to yo-yoing with my weight. So at this point, like, this is the pressure that I'm feeling right now. I feel this external pressure to maintain right here. If I deviate from here, I will get a lot of opinions thrown at me. People saying like, did all in not work? Are you restricting again? What's going on? Or I'll have to deal with people calling me obese again. And I know that it's really easy to say like, girl, don't worry about the haters. Like, don't worry about them. Don't listen to them. But it's so much easier said than done. I'm trying, I really am, but it's hard sometimes. So this is something that I am working on. I'm trying my absolute best to just like stay in my own lane and not let, other people's opinions impact my behavior. But like I said, it's hard. And also, not everyone is a hater. Some people just are concerned or confused. Like when I was gaining weight during my all-in journey, a lot of people were just sharing their opinion of the fact that the weight gain was a detriment to my health. And now that I've lost some of that weight, people say that the weight loss is a detriment to my health. It's just a lot of opinions, not just hate, which is adding to this pressure. This is the problem. Like, I'm really trying not to care. Okay, so the first problem is social media pressure to maintain this like ideal weight. So how am I gonna fix that? Well, I don't really know if I have the right answer yet, but I really feel like this is a good place to start. Like me just opening up and being honest with you guys and telling you about how I feel and everything that I'm dealing with is a good place to start. Because I want to emphasize that an all-in journey success is not predicated on where your weight ends up. It's predicated on not being food focused or hungry all the time, and that your health has significantly improved. So if my weight changes from here, I just needed to let you know that it's a possibility and it doesn't make my all-in journey any less successful. Okay, so that's one side of the first problem. The other side of this is that I need to stop letting other people's opinions impact or interfere with my journey. And one way that's helping me with this problem is doing more of what I mentioned in my last video. I've been doing a lot of reading, picking up new hobbies, spending time with my mom,
I want that one.
my family, Jeff, and focusing on people in my real life who are not as invested in my weight or my body, which is nice because I need to separate my life from my life online. So my next struggle is likely a result of the first struggle. So the anxiety and pressure that I'm feeling from my external environment has led me down a path of having a pretty irregular appetite. So for the past few months, I've been suffering with pretty bad anxiety. Like, it's been bad. And I promise I would never use that word lightly. I truly understand the implications of that word. And this feeling is totally new to me. Like, I had normal bouts of anxiety during college, during my PhD, and throughout the year of my all-in journey, but never like this. Like, this is different. I've been too anxious to upload YouTube videos, too scared to talk about it, but I'm working on it, so here I am. And it seems like this newfound anxiety has been dramatically impacting my appetite. So when my anxiety is at its worst, which is in the morning, I have absolutely no desire to eat. I feel so bad to the point of jolting awake at 5:30 every day just to get started on some task to appease my racing thoughts and fears. Also, so I don't lay in bed too long with said racing thoughts so they don't spiral out of control. And what's worse is that when my appetite is very low, it makes me even more anxious because I don't want to lose any more weight because of what we've already talked about. So that spiraling anxiety loop is giving me more anxiety. And then my appetite will be really high at night, which is probably my body's way of like making up for the lack of food from earlier in the day. So at nighttime, I just like want to eat a whole pizza. But not in a binge. I never lose control and I'm just completely honoring my hunger. But then it kind of exacerbates this problem of not being hungry in the morning because I ate so much of my total daily food at nighttime. And you guys know that intuitive eating is eating in accordance to your hunger signals. But if your hunger signals are not reliable because of anxiety, it makes intuitive eating a lot harder. And don't get me wrong, it's only been a struggle for like the last few months, but it's been enough of an issue that I felt like I needed to address it. However, on top of that, all of this was really conflicting. I had like this mental tug of war where I was kind of like rejoicing in the fact that my appetite was so low and that I wasn't food focused anymore. I relished in the fact that food didn't rule my life anymore and that I barely thought about it throughout the day. But the irregularity was causing other downstream issues, which we'll get to in Act 3. And I know it is common for people to not eat in the morning. A lot of people skip breakfast. But before my anxiety got so bad, I was happily eating first thing in the morning. And another thing is that I actually didn't love the idea of prolonging my first meal and skipping breakfast because I do remember a conversation I had with Dr. Rinaldi where she mentioned how problematic intermittent fasting can be for women and their hormones.
It's making sure that you're spreading your food out throughout the day. This whole intermittent fasting thing is really, really horrible for women's hormones.
Which kind of always stuck with me, so just another reason to address this problem. Funny enough, the video where I tried different breakfasts from different countries is actually me trying to fix this problem. I was working on my low morning appetite. It was in an attempt to help me start eating breakfast, but I just wasn't ready to talk about it at the time because I felt like I was still working on it. But it helped me eat complete meals earlier in the day, and it was really fun.
It's not nachos.
So it broke through that aversion to food in the morning. And after that video, I did really try to continue eating earlier in the day, and I did pretty good, but it's just not something that I always do. But I feel like if I can manage my anxiety by talking to you guys, this problem won't feel so heavy. So I guess like the solution to my first problem will probably be a solution to this problem. So on the flip side of having a low appetite in the morning, like I mentioned, my appetite does like pick up at night. I feel like having a really high appetite and eating a lot more later in the day was causing a bit of food guilt. So that's the downstream effect of eating like the bulk of my food at nighttime. And I know that it's silly, I feel like I should be way past this, but food guilt is a tough feeling to stop. As you can see, my struggles kind of snowball into each other. This one, a combination of problems 1 and 2, but food guilt is something that is not new to me. I definitely struggled with this in the past, even before going all in. I'm sure most people have dealt with it, but it's actually not surprising that it started to creep back once my weight had stabilized. And as you guys know, during my all-in journey, I did struggle with food guilt, especially when I was at my heaviest weight. So I did pick up on a few tactics that I used then that I'm currently using now. However, the main difference between then and now is that now it seems to come in waves. Most of the time, I'm completely fine, like carefree about food, eat freely without thinking too much about it, but it starts to get worse when my anxiety is bad. Like I already said, if my weight isn't what it should be by like some arbitrary metric, I start to pay more attention to how much I'm eating. But regardless, I still to this day honor my hunger, and when it's high, I still allow myself to eat, which might lead to just a small wash of guilt, admittedly, if I eat more than usual. But even when I have guilt, it doesn't stop me from eating, and I still don't restrict. And I'm grateful for the fact that it's not an everyday thing, but it still happens occasionally. And of course, I wish this was something that never happened anymore, but I'm human. So some tactics that helped me in the past that I'm currently using. 1, I always think about the food like nourishing my body. If my body was hungry, it was probably for a reason, and my body probably needed the food. And 2, I just think about how I could use the extra food for a quality session in the gym. Because I'm so much more focused on strength these days, anything that helps me lift more weight, I see it as a good thing. Another more obvious solution to this would be to fix problems 1 and 2, but of course that's a lot easier said than done. Also, it's kind of hard to say whether or not this would be easier on me if I wasn't so open with my journey on like the World Wide Web, but I don't want it to stop me from sharing this journey with you. Because even if my videos or my Instagram stories or my Instagram posts in general help even just like a small fraction of you, it is worth the anxiety that comes with having a life on the internet. My skin can always get thicker, of course, and I feel like if I can manage my anxiety from external pressures, that would normalize my appetite and then fix all of my downstream issues. And to be very honest with you, I feel like after talking to you guys, I have like the weight of the world off of my shoulders. I feel like I have so much off my chest. So none of this should have to be a concern anymore, because if I gain or lose weight, I told you guys. So consider this a warning. But in all seriousness, I really hope that this video explains how I've been feeling and where I am right now, and kind of lays a foundation for like the next obstacles that I plan to tackle in the upcoming months and in my upcoming videos. I want to share chapter 2 with you guys, and I want to share how I'm dealing with this, and I want to show you how I improve. And I think I might do a full day of eating for my next video, just kind of like to catch you up on where I am mentally, show you how I'm eating to overcome some of these obstacles. And if that's something that you're interested in, maybe leave me a comment down below or like the video. And subscribe if you happen to be new. I'll leave you a link to my all-in playlist if you want to catch up on all the Chronicles of Stephanie. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for being there with me. I love you. Bye.